This is roving reporter Roberta, and today the lovely ladies are going to talk about time management.
Time management. Oh, we all dread it. There's not enough time in the day to get everything done. How do you handle your time management? We all want to have time for our friends and family. Spending time together, that's the whole point of life, right? So what's the best that you can do in order to be able to include it all? We have to make time for work and for play. What form of time management do you use? Listen to these ladies as they talk about different ways that they handle their time. Maybe there's one that resonates to you and you would like to learn more about it. We all have the same time format. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes per an hour. 24 hours is a day, 7 days is a week, and 52 weeks is a year. The only difference is how many years do we have in a lifetime. Only God in time knows.
Now, the next thing I was going to ask you about was time management. Like, how do you set up your days, months? You know, I mean, you have an event and it takes like 6 months to go. I mean, do you break that down as your daily task that need to be done?
I have an overview about the timeline, what should be done first, who needs to be contacted. There's a lot of people that I'm with from year to year, but if I go to a new location, I usually need about a year because you have to establish those new relationships and find new vendors to work with and new, maybe they have different rules and regulations in that particular community.
Right.
So, and I've gone to as far as Williamsport, Pennsylvania and did an event there. Wow. And I've started several in New York. And some are still going today. So
that's awesome. I didn't, the one thing I'm loving about this process is I'm learning so much about people that I've known that I didn't know. And this is, I mean, I know you do the Rib Fest and you do the Westerville, but I would have never known until we talked just now that you go further than that.
Into it, and how much time and energy really depends on your life style. It depends on, do you have a family? I don't have kids, I've had a family, I've been married before, have stepkids and stuff. So I did have a family environment. It still was, split between homes. So I had the flexibility that I needed to run multiple businesses. I have my own personal life that I like to attend to, but I think it really depends on what you're able to sacrifice versus what's necessary to keep in your life. And so for me, I might be at a different place than other people are as far as their personal existence. But I would say if whatever you passionately want to do, you'll make the time, you'll find the way to be able to, whether you're working on that at 10 o'clock at night or 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't know. But there's a lot of sacrifice initially in a business. Now, it's funny because as running my businesses as a one-person show, it was nothing but exhaustion and constant time. And now that I'm getting it self-sufficient, I have free time. Then I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I should start another business.
Ask you about, and that's time management. Like when you first started doing this, did you have like did you have a rigid schedule that you set for yourself, or did you kind of do it around family endeavors? Like you said, you have your, your girls. Maybe you said, okay, well, I'm with them these many times, because it doesn't have to be a 9 to 5 hour.
Right.
When you're an
Right.
entrepreneur, it usually is not 9 to 5. So did you have like did you set yourself up for, these are the days I'm going to make myself available?
Yeah, definitely. So I do have a schedule when I am available. And it does work around my family. So there are nights when I have my girls, there's nights when I don't, they're with their father. And the same on the weekends. So what I do as far as like business hours, I have fairly set business hours. They're in the evenings when I don't have my girls. And then like every Saturday, regardless if I would have them or not, because they're old enough now that I can kind of be like, hey, I gotta go in my office and do some work. And then they do their own thing.
Right.
Now, because the business itself ebbs and flows, sometimes I have clients, sometimes I don't. So there's nights that I don't have any clients. Now, what I'll do is I'll use that time to work on my business. So if let's say I have, from 5 to 8 set, available for clients, I might not work all 3 of those hours, but I might take an hour or 2 during that time. I don't have any clients, so I'll spend some time on my business.
Right.
That's also something that's changed throughout the years. I'm much more, I've kind of set a higher bar for myself as far as how much time I want to dedicate to my business and where I actually want it to go over the next few years. And so, I actually set quite a large block of time on the weekend to work on my business.
Right.
And if I have a client, I can meet with them, but most of the time is spent, developing digital courses and just doing all the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, and that's
that's
something I have on there is like, some of the stuff that you do they call non-income hours, but it leads to the income. And so that's good that you for you that the hours you have set that you're staying to those hours. You're not saying, oh, well, I don't have any clients tonight, so I don't have to do anything and I'm just gonna go out and have dinner. But you're, when you're staying steady and saying, well, I have this time allotted, I might not have a client, but I need to work on something else to get clients, because they don't just come knocking on your door, unfortunately.
Right.
You have to reach out.
Exactly.
What do you do for your time management, as far as like you're open for business hours and maybe scheduling things?
Yeah, as far as time management, we always try to stick with a set schedule, just so our clients know when to expect. Starting out, we always felt like we had to respond right away, no matter what time it was. So there were people contacting us 7, 8 o'clock at night, and we really had to learn how to turn the work brain off and, shut the computer down, turn the phone off. And that way it let our clients know that we weren't ignoring them. It was just, we are going to respond at these times, 9 to 5. And so for them, it just helped them realize, okay, I'm not going to expect a response right now. She'll get back to me in the morning. And, and I really do tell people to try to do the work-life balance. It's so hard, especially working from home, owning your own business, if you have kids, family, whatever it may be. But setting that schedule, that 9 to 5 or whatever it is, based on what your business is, that is the biggest thing that we struggled with in the beginning, but we really had to learn to make sure that we set that schedule.
Hi everyone, so I wanted to share with you about the tips that what I apply every single day that helps me with it, because I think I tend to be a person that can run around, and sometimes we don't get things accomplished. But what I learned from my friends and from my mentor, and also applying it, is that if I write things down, I plan it ahead of time, even waking up early in the morning, what I need to do throughout the day, by hours, in 30 minutes in increments, and even have that time blocking out, not just about work, but also focusing on, like, if I can be able to spend certain amount of time for personal development, like I join book clubs, and also a time to go to the gym in the morning, that kind of set the tone for the day. And one of the things I really enjoy in the morning is waking up and turning on a 5 minutes gratitude, and that kind of set up the day for me. And I'm writing down what I need to accomplish, and I love to writing a note, like kind of like a little notebook, a little note to check up what I need to do, like a certain errand. But once I check it out, I feel that I accomplished a lot. And so you feel like, sometimes things like that can help. And I also use my phone to giving me a little reminder too, because that kind of giving me the reminder of what I need to do, so I can stay on track. And I also blocking off the times that I can not just work all the time, but actually like enjoying life and enjoying, the time for myself, and getting off the phone, and that kind of giving me more recharge for the next day, so I don't get burned out. So those are tips for the time management. I hope it will help someone. Thank you.
Have that flexibility as an entrepreneur to how many hours this month I'm going to, how many clients I'm going to take, how many group programs I'm going to run.
Right.
So I get to still have the flexibility in my schedule.
And that's awesome too. What's nice about how yours is, based on some of the other service women that I've talked to that have services, you do really have control of your schedule. So that's awesome, because you put, hey, this is what how many programs do you want to run? So that's
yeah. So when they were younger, having that, like I was trained, back in the day when I was really had a large business going, to set those office hours. And we were even trained, and this is pre-Facebook. So I'm dating myself here, but we were trained. So everything was email, really, or telephone. Mm-hmm. Texting was even just coming in, like smartphones. I remember one of my leaders being at a leadership conference and saying, "Oh my gosh, you got to get one of these Apple phones." And she was like, "I don't want that thing. What would I want that for?" And I said, "Just play with this for a second." And she, then, but I mean, so I'm dating myself, but that's, anyway, back in the day, email was really how we communicated with most of our hostesses. And so the tagline on my email was actually like a box, and it was my name, my title, and my office hours. My office hours were right on there, and for a few reasons. One, it held me accountable to them. It let me know, like, so it also let people know, like, if if I said my office hours end on Thursday at 4:00 and I'm off on Friday, then it lets them know if they respond to me Thursday late afternoon, they're not going to hear from me till Monday.
Right.
Right. So but it also held me accountable to, what those office hours were.
So with photo shoots, I'm super flexible. So I allow for last minute shoots and that. However, I've learned more and more, especially recently with some guidance from a life coach, business coach, that I was like overworking. Before the pandemic, I would work, and then go on a trip. Lately, not so many trips. So I was just working for months during the pandemic. Like, how great is that? Not so much. So anyways, I'm now specifically not booking when I have my daughters after school, because I have them half the time. And so in the evenings when they're home from school, the days they're with me, that's basically my weekend time, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays evening. And then I have them Saturday mornings. And so that time is blocked off as my time off, which is such an unconventional schedule. But basically, other than that, I'm very flexible to work / I do try to get a little bit of time for myself in every day too.
do like do you do like a business schedule? Like maybe do you have like time management for things? Because I know like you go to a lot of meetings to learn, you do a lot of learning, always learning and doing your workshops. Do you like have to do it? Do you do a rigid schedule or just as it comes, you know?
More
Tuck it in.
flexible, like I'll have it in writing on my calendar. That's my Bible. I'll have it written there. And if something has to be changed, I just flex it out and change it around and make it work.
That's
Do a to-do list every single day of my life. And I do it with paper instead of on my phone because I get a big kick out of checking those things off. It seems, hey, I'm accomplishing something here. So it makes me feel very,
when you forgot it and you're like, oh my God, that was such a good idea and I forgot it.
every day of my life. I'll be sitting writing. I'll be over there at dinner. I come and write it down. But I get a lot. My sister said, I could never live like you do doing that. I said, but you wouldn't believe what I get done. So
No, I bet you get a lot done because you have a plan, you have a strategy because you wrote down that to-do list.
exactly.
And you probably, I mean, do you prioritize it too? Or like maybe
Yeah, kind of like the vision board. You clarify, you prioritize, you focus on it, you envision yourself already there, you manifest it up to the Lord, and you watch it come to fruition.
That's awesome. Now, do you for time management, because you do have the different divisions going on, do you have you set your hours? Do you have like a rigid schedule that you utilize, or do you go with the ebb and the flow of what's going on?
I can't say that, every day I start my day with intentions and devotions. That's number one. And I am a firm believer that I will be sent on the path that I need to go for the day. And my days are never the way I want them to go. And I've learned to pivot. So that's kind of my word for the year, that with everything going on, you just kind of have to have fun and laugh with it, because you just never know what's going to happen in your day. However, to answer your question, I have started to take Mondays as my office day now. I finally have scheduled myself an office day. So that, I can do my social media posts, I can do my phone calls, I can do my scheduling. I think scheduling is the hardest for me because I have so many variables to schedule. And if I don't put it on paper or in a written calendar, it can't happen. I've tried the electronic ones or the ones on the phone, but I'm an old timer, so papers works best because I enjoy crossing things off the list.
Did you set a open for business schedule? Do you have what? I mean, and I know with entrepreneurs, their open for business is a little bit different than a 9 to 5. Did you set hours that you said, okay, this is when I'm available, and no matter what I'm doing, I'm going to work these hours?
Yes, I did. So it's really important to set Mary, and I say Mary Kay because that's what I'm in, but any business you're in, you have to have set hours. So you're not punching a time clock. So if you've been used to being an employee and doing that, there isn't someone telling you start now, stop now, punch in, punch out, here's what you're supposed to be doing. You have to make that list of what you want to accomplish that day. And I call them your IPAs, your income producing activities. So what should you be focusing on, and what is your time frame to do that in? So I did set hours. These are my hours in which I have times to be able to do facials and makeovers and pamper people. These are the hours I'm going to work on my Mary Kay business, like a training or watch a video or learn something. So I set Mary Kay hours to help hold myself accountable, to help myself to be able to be successful. And then to know this is when I should be working, or, want to be. One of the things that I loved about Mary Kay too, in starting my own business and being an entrepreneur, was the flexibility. I wanted flexibility. I wanted to be able to set my own hours and not have to do 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I wanted to be able to go to this event for my child, or go to this thing here, or take this day off here, and not have to ask somebody, can I do this? Do I have to do that? So the flexibility and freedom in time and your schedule, as well as in your finances, because now there's no ceiling, someone saying you can only make this much. It's how much do you want to work and how much do you want to do? So I loved all that, but the downside of that is also that it's flexible and you have freedom, and you're the one. So you're the one who's setting it, but you have to have those set hours and those set goals so that you have accountability, because you can flex yourself right out of business too.
And one thing that I have found, and this is just a personal thing, is that, like if somebody, okay, you have an appointment, they don't show up, and then you're like, well, I got some free time now. Well, you really should just take that time that you already allotted.
Absolutely.
And use it. I mean, you might not be doing an appointment, but you could be doing some kind of activity. So
I absolutely would do that, if you, because that happens, and that's the other thing people don't talk about. We call it, were you porched? And porched means you went to the person's house because they set up a party to have facials and makeovers with their 5 friends, and you go and you knock on the door, and you had confirmed it earlier, and nobody answers the door, nobody's home, they've all left. Or sometimes you see their cars and they're inside and they just aren't coming to the door. And I mean, everybody in any kind of business like that has what we call a porched story, now,
right.
And that's part of it too. And then, you call your higher up and you cry for a minute, and then they go, oh, okay, pick yourself up, dust yourself off. It's happened to all of us. It'll make a funny story later. But, those kinds of things do happen. And then you just spend that time. So it'd be like, so I would be like, okay, I'm going to pull up a video on my phone. Okay, so what's the next special I might run or be doing? I take that same hour or 45 minutes that I had already allotted, like you're saying, for your business, and still use it for your business in another way, in another area. Maybe make some phone calls, maybe shoot out some texts, instead of just like, and then
run home and get your jammies on.
Exactly.
What is commitment? Are you committed to your dream? What are you willing to do whatever it takes to make your dream come true? We'll watch this video coming up and see what a guru says about commitment.
There was a young man who wanted to make a lot of money. So he went to this guru. And he told the guru, I want to be on the same level you're on. And so the guru said, if you want to be on the same level I'm on, I'll meet you tomorrow at the beach at 4 a.m. The young man was like, the beach? I said, I want to make money. I don't want to swim. Guru said, if you want to make money, I'll meet you tomorrow, 4 a.m. So the young man gets to the beach at around 4 a.m. and he's all ready to rock and roll. He's got his suit on. And the old man grabs his hand and he says, how bad do you want to be successful? The young man says, really bad. So the guru said, walk on out in the water with me. They walk out to the water and it goes about waist deep. And the young man's thinking, this guy is crazy. I want to make money. This got me out here swimming. But the old man said, I thought you said you wanted to be successful. And the young man says, well, I do. So the guru dunks the young man's head under the water. And he holds him down, and he holds him down. And just before the young man is about to pass out, he raised him up. The guru said, I got a question for you. When you were underwater, what did you want to do? The young man said, I wanted to breathe. And the guru said, when you want to succeed as bad as you wanted to breathe, then you'll be successful. If you like the content in these videos, please subscribe below. And don't forget to hit the notification button so you get any new posts to the site.